As a fragile truce between U.S. Iran and Israel hangs in balance, the world is closely watching the upcoming peace talks. The negotiations, which are slated to begin on Saturday in Pakistan, are already shrouded in confusion and contradictions. The big question which then arises here is who benefits most from a 2 week of ceasefire if talks fail and the war resumes? Well, let's break this down. U.S. President Donald Trump has slammed rhetoric and reports on the conditions of this 2 week of ceasefire. This is his second statement after remarks on Thursday accusing false reports and clarifying that the real grounds of ceasefire remain private. In his post a short while back, Trump has said that American military will remain in place until real agreement reached, which is fully complied with. He went on to say that in case that does not happen, U.S. troops will resume their attacks on Iran. Currently, U.S. has the world's largest aircraft carrier, USS Gerald R. Ford, deployed in the region, along with USS Mahan, USS Winston S. Churchill, and USS Bainbridge. America also has aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln deployed with 4 other naval destroyers. In air power, U.S. has dozens of fighter jets, including F-35s, F-22s and F-15s, and F-16s, F-15E Strike Eagle, Super Hornets and B-2 bombers, which are deployed in the region and added strategic bases in Europe as well. Washington also has over 50,000 troops in the region, which analysts say is 10,000 more than the normal estimate, as U.S. continues to strengthen military presence around Iran. Despite the military threat and political pressure from Trump, Iran's leadership maintains its stance on having all its conditions met. Top leadership has slammed the U.S. for violating 3 clauses of the 2 week conditional ceasefire. Even when talks were ongoing for a truce, Iran's leadership repeatedly said that the country wants a lasting peace deal with guarantees of no future attacks. They also accused U.S. and Israel of using a temporary ceasefire to buy time to rebuild military pressure in West Asia. But the same can also hold true for Iran. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, who controlled missile production, said a few days ago that the Islamic Republic has continued to produce missiles even when the war was underway. Analysts estimate that Iran has built a stockpile of around 17,000 missiles in the last 15 years. Well, this includes the more modern cruise missiles. A halt in attacks paves the way for Tehran to ramp up its production. If ceasefire talks and conditions of the truce fail and the war resumes, Iran will not be alone. The axis of resistance, particularly Hezbollah, has been active in this war, firing missiles at Israel since early March. Yemen's Houthis, on the other hand, only joined the war much later. The rebel group fired its first missiles on March 27th in a careful and calculated operation. Even after that, the strikes have been limited. Houthi leader Abdul Malik welcomed the 2 week conditional truce and hailed it as a victory for Iran. But 2 days before a ceasefire was announced, the Houthi rebels threatened to block the Bab al-Mandab Strait. The Bab al-Mandab is another strategic maritime choke point which separates Yemen and countries in the Horn of Africa region. Houthis are strategically placed to block the strait with attacks, which is just 18 miles wide. This will become the second strait which will get choked by Iran and its allies, along with the Strait of Hormuz. Together, both maritime passages account for over 25% of global trade.